Okay, here's my audience. Okay. Thank you. Okay. When you think of nature's beauty, what exactly comes to mind? Miles of undisturbed nature, amazing wildlife roaming free, mountains so big they take your breath away. The state of Alaska has just that. Alaska is a perfect example of nature's beauty at its finest. I have been blessed to witness Alaska firsthand while living there for over 5 years. Between first, the wildlife, second, the mountains, and third, the open spaces, Alaska leaves you with wonder and a sense of magic that nature performs incredibly. Now, let's begin with wildlife. In the summer months in Alaska, there's a big chance you'll get to see multiple bears roaming around. They may be on the side of the road or searching for food in your neighbor's garbage can. With Alaska being an ideal area for brown bears to live, researchers estimate 30,000 bears live in Alaska. Alaska is home to 98% of the brown bear population and 70% of North America's brown bear population. When living on base in Alaska, we are strongly encouraged not to leave food in our cars where bears will be able to smell it and they would try breaking into your cars to find it. Another animal you will see all the time is the moose. They look quiet. They look like quiet, peaceful animals, but they don't let their beauty fool you. They can be mean, especially a mother moose with her young. Alaska has the largest species of moose in the world. A male moose can weigh up to 1,600 pounds and a female moose can weigh up to 1,300 pounds. While living in Alaska, I had many encounters with the moose. From not being able to drop my children off at school because they were blocking the doors eating the trees, or them eating our pumpkins that we put out for Halloween. My most memorable encounter was when I hit a moose on the highway going about 60 miles per hour with my husband's truck. Thankfully, I turned the wheel at the perfect time and hit him in the butt. We have talked about the wildlife. Now let's consider the mountains. One of the most beautiful things in Alaska is its mountains. The mountain range that most of you know about is the Alaskan Range. This is where Mount Denali is. It used to be known as Mount McKinley. In August 2015, President Obama used his executive power to rename the mountain back to Denali, which was its original name about a century ago. The natives came up with the name Denali, meaning the high one or the great one. Even though Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world, its base starts at 14,000 feet in sea level. Mount Denali's base starts at 2,000 feet above sea level. So measuring from base to peak, Denali is taller. By mass alone, Denali is the biggest mountain in the world. Not all of Alaska's mountains are quiet. There are quite a few active volcanoes in the state. In 1992, just west of Anchorage, an active volcano named Mount Sporer erupted, covering the whole city in a layer of ash. There's also 2 active volcanoes called Illumina or Redoubt. They have been active for the past couple years. When living in Alaska, Mount Redoubt actually erupted and a cloud of ash came towards us and landed all over the city of Wasilla, Alaska, where we lived. We've talked about the mountains, so now let's consider the open spaces. With an area of 63,000 square miles, Alaska is ranked the largest state in the United States. It is over 2 times the size of Texas. The U.S. government owns 65% of the state. This includes lands such as the national parks, forests, and wildlife refuges. Even though Alaska is not so big, even though Alaska is so big, not a lot of people live there. There are only 1.2 people per square mile, which means the state is ranked as the least densely populated state. As of July 2015, the U.S. Census says that Alaska's population is just under 740,000 people. When searching for nature's most amazing creations, Alaska should be at the top of your list. With animals such as the moose and the bear, mountains for miles and miles, and wide open spaces to be one with nature, these are only 3 reasons that Alaska is incredible. But the list can go on forever. When talking to people about my experience living there, I always say pictures do not do it justice. I highly recommend putting it on your bucket list. Thank you. There's my audience. Right, go.